Hello and welcome. I'm Cassandra Mack, founder of CassandраMackMinistries.com, strategiesforempoweredliving.com, and author of the Self-Love Workbook and Guided Journal titled Because You're Worth It. You can check it out on Amazon with my other books. The link is in the description box. Today's video was being done by request. A fellow YouTuber who wants to go by the name of T, she's from Virginia, reaches out, and this is her scenario. She asked the question, how do you deal with a person who copies everything you do in business? How do you deal with a business copycat? And so we're going to talk about that today. And that is one of the most frustrating things when you put your heart and soul into coming up with your marketing ideas, your branding ideas, your creative voice, just to see somebody regurgitate your work, or if they're really blatant, seeing them copy what it is that you do verbatim, word for word. That is very frustrating because you put a lot of time and energy and effort into what you do. But do know that copycats are unavoidable in business. Think about it. You have Uber Eats, but you also have DoorDash. So usually when people see that a company or a person is building momentum and having success in a particular area, success leaves clues. And so while there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from someone, there is a fine line between inspiration and imitation. And we all take inspiration from others, right? You may, if you're in ministry, you may look at another minister and be inspired by that minister. You might, if you are a fashion and beauty blogger, you may be inspired by other fashion and beauty bloggers. If you are a YouTuber and your focus is technology, you may be inspired by other YouTubers who focus on the same thing, but you still have your own voice and your own vision. And there is a fine line between being inspired and imitating the person and blatantly copying their work. And so this is key. So they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but blatant imitation is the highest form of laziness and lack of creativity. And this is what I will say to you, T, because I feel your pain on this one. And I have dealt with this myself personally. About 10 years ago, might be a little longer than that, I mentored someone and opened up a lot of doors for them in the speaking and training business, particularly within the nonprofit arena within the child welfare system. And come to find out that not only were they copying my speaking points, but they also copied the copy from my website almost verbatim. They changed a few words, but it was very, very dangerously close to what I had in my website, so much so that other people noticed themselves and would come back and tell me. And so I say this to say, know that you are not alone. And this is common in business. This is very common. And when I confronted the person, they had the nerve to say, well, your business is already known and I'm trying to get established. That was their response when I confronted them. And so, T, what I'm getting at is, I feel your pain. And so here's the thing, right? That's important to keep in mind. Copycats in business are unavoidable, but how you deal with them will be the difference between achieving continued success and allowing a copycat to get the best of you. And you do have recourse if it's blatant, if it's a blatant copyright infringement. But where it gets tricky is most people are not that bold. Most people will tweak a few of your words so that it's not verbatim. But the frustrating thing about it is you still know your work. You know your voice. You know your speaking points, even if someone changes up a few words so that you cannot come after them legally. And so here's the thing. People who copy you, whether they copy you in marketing and branding, in a weird way, they're paying you a compliment. Now, nobody wants to be complimented this way, right? You want to be compensated, not complimented. But understand that they are a fan of what you do, even though they will never tell you this. So they're haters, but most haters, in many regards, are fans. So here's what I would suggest that you do. Number one, stay true to your brand and stay true to your customers, particularly when you are dealing with someone who is not copying you verbatim to the point where you have legal recourse. Stay true to your customers. When you're building your brand on YouTube, make sure that you are intently focused on the needs of your community. So many people try to market to everybody. And one of the things you learn in business is target marketing. Everybody is not your target market. And so the target market for Walmart is a different target market from Saks Fifth Avenue, but they are both successful. And so when you're building your brand, be hyper-focused on your target market. Who are you serving? Even with Cassandra Mack Ministries, and you hear me say this a lot, I am clear that my ministry is not for everybody. My ministry is not for highly religious, super sensitive people. My ministry is not for a whole lot of people. Everybody's not going to resonate with my message. Everybody's not going to resonate with my brand, and that's okay by me. Similarly, everybody's not going to eat at McDonald's. Everybody's not going to eat at Burger King, and everybody's not going to eat at any other restaurant you could name. People like what they like, and they connect with what resonates with them. So make sure that you are staying true to your vision, because when you stay true to your vision, you can stay true to whomever it is that you are serving, your customers, your clients, your community. And this is something that a copycat cannot copy. So while they can try to copy some of your speaking points, while they can try to copy some of the wording that you use on your website and maybe tweak a couple of things, what they cannot copy is the connection that you have with the audience who most resonates with your message. So keep that in the back of your mind and in the front of your mind, and know that whatever it is that you do for your target market, for your audience, for your community, you're doing it to improve their lives and help them solve their problems and relieve their pain points, right? No matter what the niche is, whether it is technology, then you're trying to improve their life through helping them figure out technology. If it is beauty and fashion, then you're trying to improve people's lives by helping them accentuate their beauty and putting together their outfits in a way that speaks to their style. And so whatever it is, whatever your particular niche is, be very clear about who it is you're serving, and be clear to do three things. Whatever your niche is, you need to be doing three things. It needs to improve their lives, solve their problems, and relieve their pain points. Even a comedian, when you're watching a funny movie, it is about being able to unwind through laughter. And so they're improving a person's life through having that little time to just laugh. You're helping them solve their problem in the moment of just needing to unwind and relax. And so what I'm getting at is, no matter what your niche is in business, when you stay true to your customer, your client base, your community, make sure that you're doing the three things of whatever it is, however you serve them through your niche. You are doing something that improves their lives, helps them solve their problem pertaining to your niche. So if it's makeup and beauty, you're helping people solve the problem of learning how to apply makeup in a beautiful way and relieve their pain points. So we can use beauty again. And so if the pain point is that they don't know how to put together their hair, they don't know how to dress for different occasions, you're helping them relieve those pain points. This applies to every niche, no matter what niche you are in terms of your business. It comes down to helping people improve their lives through your particular niche, because they're coming to you for information for a reason, or they're coming to you, if not for information, they're coming to you for relaxation. So why are they coming to you? What problem are you solving? How are you helping them improve their lives? How are you relieving their pain points, whatever their pain points may be? And here's the big hint. A lot of their pain points may have to do with your pain points. And so a lot of times when, let's say that you are a plus size model and you are a size 18, and you were never able to find beautiful clothing for your body type that was attractive and that was current and trendy. And so because that was a pain point for you, you made it your business to find clothes and to put together fashion for women who are a size 16 plus. And so now the niche is women come to your channel to be able to figure out how to put together fashionable items at a plus size. And so here's the thing. When you remember that, it's going to be very difficult for people to copy your voice and your vision, even if they are serving the same niche. Even if they try to copy you, they can't copy your soul. That's what I'm getting at, when you put your heart and soul in what you're doing. And so try not to be obsessed about the copycats. So don't turn your attention to the copycats. Keep your attention focused on serving your truest customers, your truest clients, and your truest community. Because if you focus your attention on your copycats, that is attention that you are not giving to improve the lives, solve the problems, and help relieve the pain points of those whom you were choosing to serve through your business. Also, stay close to your audience, whatever you call your community. Stay close to your audience, your clients, your customers, by making a commitment to understanding their needs and then constantly innovating, right? And here's why this is a good move when you're dealing with copycats. When you're constantly innovating, it's difficult for copycats to try to keep up with everything that you do. They might copy 6 out of 10 items, but it's going to be difficult for them to copy 10 out of 10. And then when it becomes that blatant, other people will start noticing and will call them out, and it will be a turnoff to other people. And so stay close to your audience, your fans, your clients, your customers, whatever you call the niche community that you serve, by making a commitment to understanding their needs and constantly innovating. And they'll tell you what they need because you are a YouTuber. So in the comments section, when they're sharing their comments and you're reading through those comments and they're asking questions, they're telling you what you need, and that'll give you ideas for future videos. And so even with this channel, a lot of the video ideas come from comments in the comment section. And when I see a theme, 2 or 3 people, maybe 5 or 10 people keep bringing up a similar point, then I will begin to say, okay, this is something that is a pain point for a lot of people. Let me make a video on it. So begin thinking about that. Also, at a minimum, this is I think it's point number 3. At a minimum, make sure that you're doing your due diligence as a creative and as a business owner. And what I mean by that is make sure you have your work copywritten and trademarked. Handle your business. Handle your business. You might be great at the creative part of it. You might be great at the creation of the YouTube videos, but handle your business with respect to making sure you copyright what needs to be copyright and you trademark your work. And I'm not an attorney, so you'll need to consult with an attorney who specializes in this area to guide you through this process. Because once you do your due diligence and you have your work copywritten and someone blatantly infringes upon your copywritten work and your trademark work, you have legal recourse. And so make sure that you're taking care of that and handle your business. Another thing that you can do that's really helpful, and this is particularly for those of you who might be dealing with someone who you mentored and they are copying your work blatantly. And sometimes, oh, how could I forget this one? Sometimes it's not even a mentor. Sometimes you work for a large organization. This has happened to me too. Sometimes you work for a large organization and they will blatantly copy your work. And so one of the things that happens to a lot of trainers, particularly trainers who have done workshops for large organizations that use multiple consultants, What will happen sometimes is once you begin to price out of that organization and they want to use another consultant, possibly that they can pay half of what they used to pay you, what will happen is a lot of times they will use your exact workshop, your speaking points, and they'll change a few words and give it to another consultant. And this is something that is not talked about, but it happens. And so make sure that you keep proof of your ideas, any email exchanges, any notes jotted down during a business meeting or a business call. If it's artwork, side-by-side snapshot comparisons of artwork. So you want to make sure that you view your business-oriented conversations, right, as business. And so make sure that you're adding watermark symbols to your images and your content if necessary. Use Google to check for online plagiarism. Add any copyright symbols. So make sure that you are taking care of those things and keep proof of ideas such as email exchanges. And so this is what happens for a lot of trainers and consultants. Let's say that an organization wants to hire you and they want to have an inquiry conversation because they're thinking about hiring you to bring you into their company to do a series of training on, it could be anything, I'll say time management. And you go into detail about what you would cover in a 2-hour time management workshop. You go into detail with the possible hiring agency. It is always a good idea as proof of your work, once you hang up that phone call, it's a good idea to follow up with an email and follow up with the speaking points that you shared. And so you might say something along the lines of, Dear Mrs. Jane Doe, it was a pleasure speaking with you today about the possibility of working with your organization for a series of time management trainings, just to highlight some of the points that I shared with you that I would offer during a training. Point number A, point number B, point number C, and then go through the points that you verbally said, so that if you see your work come up someplace else, you have proof that you were the originator of the work by way of your email. And so that is something that that is helpful to do, that I do. And it's interesting because when I started my business, Strategies for Empowered Living, about 20 years ago, working with different organizations to provide professional development training for their staff, it took getting burned a couple of times for me to be able to figure some of these things out. And so often when people hire me to coach them in terms of their business, they are usually hiring me to learn from, to cut their learning curve and to save them the time and the headache of things that are often not talked about in business. So understand that you are running a business. You are running a business. If you have a YouTube channel, right, you are running it like a business. And so if the problem persists that this individual keeps copying your work, involve an attorney and at least explore what your options are. Now, you did say she changes a few of the words so that it's not point by point verbatim, but still, see what an attorney has to say. Because as I said, I am not an attorney, so I cannot competently advise you. So if the problem persists, at least talk with an attorney, take your emotions out of it, and let an attorney handle it for you. And if your work is being directly copied or used without your permission, that's a big one. This happens with big companies when they hire independent consultants. So if your work is being used without your permission, get a lawyer involved, and you can pursue a cease and desist letter, as well as go through the trademark process to cover your name, your products, services, whatever it is that you're doing. Next, continue to be creative. After all, it's important to understand that, once again, your vision and your voice cannot be duplicated. So keep showing up as your unique self. Keep showing up as your unique self, and know that a person cannot copy your vision and your voice. You got to keep connecting with yourself. Keep sharing your gifts. Keep doing what you believe you're meant to do. Keep bringing into the world the gifts that you're meant to bring into the world. And that's the thing that's really going to make you stand out. And what will happen over time is the right people who you are meant to connect with will connect with you. And even if you have a person who copies or tries to copy your ideas, understand that they can't copy the heart and soul of what you do. And I want to end with a scripture. You know, I always put a scripture in there. So I want to end with a scripture that I think will give you a peace of mind. And I'm going to utilize this scripture as it applies to what we're talking about here. So I'm going to apply this scripture to dealing with copycats in business. And it comes from Revelation chapter 3, verse 8. And it says, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. And so understand that God knows your works. He knows your deeds. And if God has blessed the work of your hands, right? If God has blessed the work of your hands for you to be able to birth your gifts and your talents and your vision out into the world, understand that God has a hope and a future specifically for you that can't be duplicated or replicated. And so when you understand that, you also understand that God has set before you an open door. And so God has opened up the door for you to have this YouTube channel, for you to have your social media business, for you to connect with the tribe that you're meant to connect with, for you to produce the content that you were meant to produce. So know that whatever door God opens, no man can shut. They can try to copy you, but you can never truly be duplicated, and you can never truly be replicated. You know, they may imitate you, but they can't duplicate the heart and soul of what you do. That's what I'm getting at. Even if they try to take some of your speaking points, and this is frustrating. I've had this happen to me. But here's the thing. Even if a person tries to take your speaking points, they will not deliver it with the level of power and the level of genuineness. You ever heard, I'll give you an example, the level of genuineness that it needs to be delivered with. If you've ever heard a person say a speech and it put you to sleep, and not in a good way, and you were like, boy, that was boring. And somebody else might have said the same words, but when they spoke those words, it was like fire. It was like medicine on your soul. A lot of times it is because you are picking up on the emotion behind the words. And that really can't be faked. That can't be perpetrated. You were picking up on the genuineness behind the words. And so know that nobody can 100% copy your voice. And they surely can't copy the vision God gave to you. You know, when I think about vision, and I think about how God gave Moses a vision as a deliverer to deliver a nation out of bondage, he gave Moses a very specific vision. And when it was time for Joshua to fill Moses' shoes, so to speak, after Moses died, God gave Joshua a separate vision. It was still in regards to leadership, but he couldn't lead like Moses. He had to lead like Joshua. And so know that each person has to do their thing in their own way. And even if they try to be you, you are a unique, one-of-a-kind soul that cannot be duplicated or replicated, even if you are imitated. And so when you understand that, and you hold on to Revelation 3:8, God knows your works, and he's set before you an open door. He's opened the door for you to do what you do, and no man could shut it. No matter how much somebody tries to imitate exactly what it is that you do, they can't steal what's for you. The room is big enough, the world, I should say, is big enough for both of you to exist. And while nobody likes their work to be blatantly copywritten, and as I said, if it is, take care of what you need to take care of legally. Have an attorney handle that for you. Do what you need to do legally. Protect your work with copyrights, trademarks. Do what you got to do. Do your due diligence. But what I'm speaking here is more mentally. After you do your due diligence, make sure that you don't invest a lot of your mental space and a lot of your emotional energy in the copycats. Instead, invest it in the creativity while allowing the attorney to go after the copycats. So with that being said, I would love to hear in the comments, have you ever experienced that? Are you a creative or a business owner or a social media, you have a social media business and you have had people blatantly copy your work to the point where you were like dumbfounded, like, wow, I can't believe this person is that bold. Have you ever had an experience where you helped somebody out, mentored somebody, and they showed their entire behind by copying your work blatantly? Or have you ever been in a situation where it's clear that somebody is inspired by you, but they're gradually moving from inspiration to imitation because you're seeing your work recreated with a few tweaks? How did you handle that situation? This would be helpful for T. And if you are an attorney, if you're an attorney that specializes in this, are there any suggestions in terms of websites or resources that folks who are dealing with can go to find additional information? So with that being said, always remember, you hold the pen that writes the chapters of your life. Make your story an amazing one. And as iron sharpens iron, let's continue to be the iron that sharpens one another's lives. And go out and get my book, The Self-Love Workbook. It's a self-love workbook. The title's actually called Because You're Worth It. And it's a self-love workbook and guided journal that takes you through the 25 components associated with self-love. And if you are a business owner, I do have a book called Grab a Girlfriend and Go Live Your Dreams. It was a book intended for women under the Grab a Girlfriend and Go brand, but it really applies, to anyone who has a dream and you want to take your dream from the dream stage to from the idea stage to actually bringing it into fruition. And that's called Grab a Girlfriend and Go Live Your Dreams. And if you're a man, just cross out the word girl and put grab a friend and go live your dreams. And you'll find that a very helpful book for those of you who have an idea in the infancy stage, but you want to, birth it out into the world. And so with that being said, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.